Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my WWE 205 Live review for May 28th, 2019. And we had Aiden English, Vic Joseph, and Nigel McGuinness on commentary for this show. And the show opens up with gentleman Jack Gallagher backstage, watching footage from the tag team match last week when he teamed up with Humberto Carrillo. And Jack Gallagher, though, is still irked about the fact that Humberto Carrillo pinned him in that Fatal 4-Way match a couple weeks ago. So he wants to do something about it. He wants to see if Humberto Carrillo really is better than him in a one-on-one capacity. So he challenges Humberto Carrillo to a match on the show, and Humberto Carrillo accepts, and he says that he looks forward to beating him again. And then that was that. I like this. I actually kind of like this feud where it's kind of like, they're not really friends, but, they're enemies. They're kind of frenemies in a way where they respect each other. However, um, you know, uh, they don't really, you wouldn't see them like hanging out outside the professional wrestling business and stuff like that. At least that's the way they're selling this anyway. So I actually like the way this opened up, and I enjoyed it. And I thought it was something nice and different too to kind of, open up 205 Live, because typically it opens up with like a little video promo. Um, I thought, here was kind of a nice different way to do it, so I liked it. And then we had the first match on the show. It was the Brian Kendrick versus Mike Kanellis with Maria Kanellis ringside. I was very iffy if I was even going to watch 205 Live anymore after this, because they did announce that at Super Showdown that the Brian Kendrick and Mike Kanellis are going to be in that battle royal that's taking place at Super Showdown, which is, that awful Saudi Arabia show that's making me boycott all main roster programming. So I was kind of like, this is kind of building to that. But if you kind of watch the match and you kind of, watch this show, program and stuff, it didn't really build to that. They just kind of mentioned it, and it didn't directly build to that match. They talk about it like once, and then that's it. So I'm gonna give it a pass. Because it didn't really directly build to that match. But I thought this was a really good match. You have the Brian Kendrick and Mike Kanellis, who've been kind of feuding because of the Brian Kendrick's association with Akira Tozawa, and they really haven't gotten in the ring and really done anything about it. So I really like what they're doing here. So the Brian Kendrick just starts brawling. He beats up Mike Kanellis. He fights him on the outside, and he dominates him throughout the beginning portions of this matchup. Throws Mike Kanellis into the barricade, bounces him headfirst off the announcer's table, but then eventually Mike Kanellis suplexes the Brian Kendrick into the barricade, and he proceeds to pick apart the Brian Kendrick. Eventually, the Brian Kendrick finds a mounted comeback by getting into the captain's hook, but Mike Kanellis quickly gets to the ropes. And then the match really starts to go back and forth. The Brian Kendrick starts to get on a roll with some drop kicks and things like that. And really it starts to mount a comeback. He goes for the sliced bread. Mike Kanellis counters it, and he rolls outside the ring. But then they're on the steps, and the Brian Kendrick hits a suplex off the steps onto the floor, which was pretty damn cool. And he goes for the he gets him into the captain's hook a second time, and Mike Kanellis can't get to the ropes, so he ends up getting out of it by hooking Kendrick's legs and picking him up in a fireman's carry slam, which was really goddamn cool. But he doesn't get the win off of that. They both exchange super kicks on each other, and then eventually Mike Kanellis just hits a wicked clothesline, and then they both get up. Mike Kanellis hits a wicked spinebuster. Kendrick kicks out, and then eventually he just really loses it. He hits another fireman's carry slam into a swinging neck breaker for the win, and he just really went off on the Brian Kendrick, and Mike Kanellis, like I said, gets the win. Makes sense. Mike Kanellis hasn't really had a big victory in a while, and the Brian Kendrick, kind of the veteran in the business. His role should be to put over the new talent, so I like this, and maybe it's going to build to Mike Kanellis getting a future Cruiserweight title match. I don't know. And then Tony Nese is backstage, and he's talking to Drake Maverick, and he doesn't really want to be sitting out on the sidelines as a champion. He wants to be a fighting champion, and he's pretty much pushing for Akira Tozawa to get a Cruiserweight title match because of his impressive performances recently. And even Akira Tozawa walks in. And Drake Maverick says that he's had a lot on his plate at the moment, and he doesn't want to just rush into a big decision like that. So he says that he needs some more time to think about it, and then that was it. I like this. It builds a future Cruiserweight title match with possibly Tony Nese versus Akira Tozawa. So I thought this was a thumbs up. And then Alia Davawi's backstage, and we find out that he ended up getting stitches in his ear because of Oney Lorcan, and he blames Oney Lorcan pretty much for the reason that he didn't get the job done in the Fatal 5-Way match, and he says that he's not done with the Cruiserweight Championship. Then we had I like this. Starts a feud between Oney Lorcan and Alia Davawi. And then we had Noam Dar versus Mike Kalma. Yeah, a fine squash match here. Noam Dar wins with a supernova out of the corner. And, they're still running with the fact that he's a heel. Because obviously in NXT UK, he just did that thing where he faked his injury to win a match. So that it's carrying it out here, which I like. I like the fact that he's not going to be, a face here and a heel on another brand. Because I know. I remember they tried that with Oney Lorcan, and it kind of didn't work, where he was a heel on 205 Live, but a face in NXT. So I like that Noam Dar is going to be a heel in both places. Afterwards, he gets interviewed, and he says that, the interviewer asks him, Sarah Schreiber asks him, if he feels like he's starting to get back on track in 205 Live, and Noam Dar says that he was never off track. The only reason he's been off track, to begin with, is because he's had to fly, to 2 different continents to take over the world. And he said that he's doing this to make sure that all the wrestlers are in their place. And he says that, he looks forward to taking over both 205 Live and NXT UK. And he says that he can't wait to get out of here because Ohio sucks. I actually thought it was a good promo, and I enjoy this. I like Noam Dar's new heel persona. And then Drake Maverick gets interviewed, and he gets asked, and Caleb Braxton, who fucked up the interview at first, but he gets asked about who's going to possibly challenge for the Cruiserweight title. But Drake Maverick says that he's just got too much on his plate right now. And then he sees R-Truth, who's the 24/7 champion, and Drake Maverick races after him because he wants to win that title. So the whole storyline they're trying to go with is that Drake Maverick is more focused on wanting to win the 24/7 title than running his own show, which I think is pretty stupid. And I really can't fault 205 Live's, creative team and stuff for coming up with this storyline because it's not their fault. They have to fucking work around the fact that main roster continuously tries to fuck over the, developmental brands. And the 205 Live, the 24/7 title is more of an example of that because this title doesn't belong anywhere in the developmental brands. This title fucking stays on the main roster and stays far away from 205 Live, NXT UK, and NXT. Don't you dare go there. Stop it. Then we have Oney Lorcan backstage, and he talks about how he just came up short in the Fatal 5-Way match last week. He says that he's not going to make any excuses for it, unlike Alia Davawi. And he says that he apologizes for giving him stitches, but if there's a fight you want, you can have it. So basically, they're going to set up a future match between Oney Lorcan and Alia Davawi. Excited for that. They had a really good match when they fought for the number 1 contendership for the Cruiserweight title, so excited. Then we had the main event. It was Gentleman Jack Gallagher versus Humberto Carrillo. I thought this was a hell of a main event. I really like the way it started, where they're both trying to outdo each other by doing arm drags and roll-ups on each other. I really like when Jack Gallagher stood back, sat back like this, and stretched Humberto Carrillo's arm, and they both exchanged roll-ups on each other. Jack Gallagher stood upside down on the turnbuckle when he does this whole thing when the guy runs at him and stops him with his foot, which I missed that spot. This is why I kind of like the fact that he's a babyface again. And then Humberto Carrillo does the same thing and does a split on there. But then eventually Humberto Carrillo hits a wicked arm drag outside the ring, and then he hits a drop kick, and Humberto Carrillo goes for another drop kick on the outside, but Jack Gallagher counters it, pushes Humberto Carrillo back first into the barricade, and he tries to get Humberto Carrillo counted out, but he gets back in the ring just in time. And he dominates Humberto Carrillo for a long-ass time, really targets his back, and Humberto Carrillo finally starts to mount a comeback and, really go off on Jack Gallagher by hitting the, arm drag where he has the guy laying down and he just bounces off the ropes and does it, which is really damn cool. The Hurricanrana. And there's a spot where Jack Gallagher has the match won with like a headbutt, but Humberto Carrillo rolls out of the ring. So Jack Gallagher rolls out himself, hits a drop kick into the barricade. And then Humberto Carrillo reverses the second one into the arm drag into the barricade as well. And Humberto Carrillo hits a really cool DDT when Gallagher was going for like some type of suplex. And I thought that was pretty damn awesome. Really cool crossbody, really cool springboard spin kick. Jack Gallagher hits a drop kick, and he says, "I'm better than you." Before that, hits a suicide dive on the outside. But then eventually, Humberto Carrillo gets the win with the moonsault off the top turnbuckle for the win. And Humberto Carrillo goes over here, which I think makes sense. You want to really build Humberto Carrillo. And maybe this is going to lead to Jack Gallagher snapping and turning heel on Carrillo because he's sick and tired of Humberto Carrillo continuously beating him. So he wants to prove that he's better than him, so he'll just brutalize him one of these times. And I wonder where Drew Gulak fits in all this, because we've seen that Drew Gulak's been making really cryptic posts on either Twitter or Instagram. I think it was Twitter, though. Could have been both. About, the state of the 205 Live division. And obviously, Gallagher and Humberto Carrillo have stabbed him in the back recently. So is he going to kind of play a factor into this, and what role will he be? But that was 205 Live. I thought it was a pretty damn awesome show, actually. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very easy to sit through. I really liked the two matches on the show. I liked how they're building to questioning who's possibly going to challenge for the Cruiserweight title. Because it seems like they're building to some type of four-way match with, Noam Dar, Mike Kanellis, Akira Tozawa, and Humberto Carrillo, which I actually would like. Just because it'd be cool. But please do not put the Cruiserweight title match on Super Showdown, because then I won't watch 205 Live next week. So don't do that, or we're going to have serious problems. The only thing I hated on this show was that great Drake Maverick storyline, not focused on running his own show. But that's basically it. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you guys like, comment, share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell. So that way, every time I upload a video, you guys get the notifications for it. And make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM brothers and no one talking near the YouTube channels. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.